Hey everyone, it's Gen 1 Manifestation Coach. Welcome to my YouTube video. I'm going to be talking about how to clear your money space, how to clear your energetic money space so that you can manifest with ease and actually see and make the connection between your thoughts and your feelings about money and your physical reality with money, okay? You want to be able to, when you're like a manifestation master, you're going to be able to see, oh yeah, and make the connection. I thought this, I felt this, and here's my physical reflection of that, okay? So some grounding principles that you need to know when it comes to manifesting money and being the deliberate creator of your money reality. The thoughts you think, the feelings you feel about money all day long, if you think about them, reflect, like, what did you think all day about money the last week? If you could literally track it, okay? I keep saying Elon Musk or somebody is going to invent some kind of tool where you can literally track your thoughts. Okay? Maybe that's too, mind controlling. But anyways, it would be helpful for manifestation because then you could actually see what you're doing. The other thing is we have our conscious thoughts, but then we also have this depth. Like, we're very deep psyches. Like, there's a lot of depth in us. And there's this whole unconsciousness world underneath the conscious mind going on. You know, we have this subtle reality all the time underneath the surface. So you'll notice when you're manifesting and trying to get more deliberate with your manifestations that you'll start with what you're currently conscious of. Like, the feelings about money you're currently conscious of, the thoughts about money you're currently conscious of, and then you'll kind of get deeper into the more subtle voices about money and the more subtle feelings about money that are actually causing your manifestations. So if it doesn't work for you at first, don't give up, because sometimes it takes expanding your awareness. So this is what I always teach, because in my experience, this is what made manifestation actually work more like a science for me. So to connect with my spirit, connect with my source, connect with God, okay, and pure awareness. And you can use whatever word you resonate with, right? You can say universe, you can say God, you can say source, you can say presence, awareness, consciousness. So the ground of being, right, the space in which all forms appear. If you haven't read I Am That by Nisargadatta Maharaj, that's a good book to kind of understand and connect more with this non-dual space. So in my opinion, manifestation works so much better when you have this awareness of that non-dual space and you have a connection to it. And not that we're not always there, like we're always connected to awareness because we can't be separate from it. But we don't think in those terms, right? It takes practice, and this is for another video, but it does take practice to really maintain your focus on that non-dual space when you're manifesting, okay? And that's something that is really powerful, and I've found it to really make my manifestations work much better. Because if you keep imagining separation, then you keep including the outer world in your manifestations. And so that it has so much less power, because God said, let there be light, right? Oh, that was one thought. From God, one thought, and then boom, there's light. So we can do that too. It's like the same thing for us. Well, we are always connected to God, right? You can't be separate from God. So you want to clear your space, clear out your ego, your sense of separate self, and merge, become one with God, right? And that's the purpose of life anyway. Like, the ultimate purpose, right, is to remember who you are. Remember that you are God experiencing a separate individual. So you come back into that connection with Source. And this is why meditation is so good for manifesting too, because when you meditate, you can kind of clear out your space, clear your mind, and just connect with that oneness, right? Connect with your pure source energy. So you clear out your thoughts, connect with source, and then now that you're like clear, now that your plate is clear, your canvas is clear, now you can paint it how you want it to be. Okay? So don't imagine that money is outside of you and separate from you. Okay? And it's going to take, you have these ideas, right, about how long it's going to take to get money. You have these ideas about where the money is going to come from. But you want to just like stop, like just don't even go there. Don't even imagine that, right? Because when you imagine those things, you're imagining distance from you and the money that you're manifesting. So don't separate yourself. Stay with source. Stay with spirit, okay? And now from there, you think all it takes is one thought. If instead God said, let there be light, God said, let there be $100,000, right? then boom, there would be $100,000, right? But like, that's not even, God wouldn't create just $100,000 because it's much better to have light, right? So there's so much, anyways, I mean, this is a side note, but like, you know, there's so much abundance in the world already. Money is just one form of that abundance, right? Light is wow, right? Very abundant. Lots of abundance. There's so much abundance everywhere. Okay, so 100K manifested. Boom, that's all it takes. So you have to start believing that, right? What if that's all it takes? What if all it takes to manifest? And I'm not saying give up your job and like stop doing all your physical action to make money, okay? Keep that going on. That's good. But play with this when you meditate. Do this a few times a day, just for a few minutes, where you put yourself in this energy, because your energy is your foundation of the physical reality anyway, okay? But like I said, that doesn't mean you have to drop all the physical action you're taking to make money right now. Like, don't do that just yet. Stay focused on what you're doing in the physical. That's fine. Leave it as it is. But go into the energetic side of this as well with money. Okay, so you're in your meditation. You first just take the time to connect with pure space, connect with source, clear out your thoughts, clear your mind. Okay? You're a blank canvas. So now you want to think about your money goal, okay? So let's say it's a 100K day. Let's say you want to have a 100K day. And you can change whatever, use whatever number, right? 100K day feels good to me today, right? That sounds good. So if you think about it, what does it make you feel? Be present with it. Can you actually believe you had a 100K day? Well, if you can think from the place that if all it takes is one thought from God, God thinks one thought and boom, it's manifested. Okay? Okay, I had a 100K day. I had a 100K day. I had a 100K day. How do I feel? What does that mean for me now? Like, what in my life now can rearrange, right? Because money, it does change things. And you always want to think it changes things in a positive way. Money changes things in a positive way. Money is purely positive. I have a free Facebook group. It's called Purely Positive Money. Money gets to be a purely positive subject in your mind, in your body, in your life. Okay, it doesn't have to be something that you struggle with, doesn't have to be something that gives you lack, doesn't have to be something that overwhelms you. All of that you created. Okay, you are in control because you're in control of your thoughts. You are in control, but you're going to have way more control when you connect with God, when you connect with source, when you connect with the universe, right? The space, like just spaciousness, presence. Right? If you're in this present moment right here, right now, and you're meditating, you can watch your thoughts, right? And you ask yourself, like, where is that thought coming from? Like, Who's watching that thought? Who's aware of that thought? What is aware of that thought, right? That can connect you more with the space. You can look up Ramana Maharshi books. Any non-duality books can be really helpful to get you to lean back into that non-dual space. So from that connection to spirit, source, whatever word you like, then you think your money goal as if you already had it. Okay? So it's like, this is why it's so powerful, and this really made a lot of difference to me when I figured this out, to mix non-duality with manifestation. Because like in my past, I have a lot of non-duality. That was like the first thing I discovered on my spiritual path was non-duality. I had an experience in an Ashtanga yoga class in 2009 and I had never done anything spiritual, just started yoga. Went straight from being a swimmer to starting yoga. And in the middle of the yoga class, the physical world just dropped. Like there was nothing. It was just space. Infinite black space. There was no me. There was nothing. So that experience, when I came back, my thoughts came back in, and my sense of self came back, and then I reoriented myself in my body and in the room, right? But thought was first. Thought was first, right? Thoughts manifest. That's like the ground. So I reoriented myself back into the room, and then I was like, what the hell just happened? And that's how I started my spiritual path. I started seeking. And then I found non-duality. I found all these non-dual teachers, Mooji, Tony Parsons. I read Jeff Foster books. I read Unmani books. Hey, if you guys are watching this video, you guys' books started my spiritual path. I read Teachers of One is a really good non-duality book. And I just immersed myself for a few years in non-duality. And I got into pretty deep non-dual states of just I was very happy just being, right? Not doing. I wasn't trying to become anything. I wasn't trying to have success in anything. I was just happy with what is, right? Just being. But then I was actually seeking enlightenment. I wanted to find enlightenment. And I kind of realized at a certain point when I was in London going to Tony Parsons' non-duality meetings that life is still going to happen, right? This physical body is going to live its path out. So I might as well make it the best life, right? Because I know now there's for sure no limitations. I know I'd have no limitations because I had that experience in yoga where there was nothing anyway. So why not, right? So that's when I started my journey in psychology, studied Buddhist psychology, and then I went to grad school for Jungian psychology. And then I started studying Abraham Hicks, getting into manifestation more closely. And I realized, manifestation is really what it was about for me, because being a swimmer, it was always about mind over matter. And anyways, this changed everything for me when I got to a point in studying manifestation where I was like, I have to apply everything I learned about non-duality now and mix them. They get to come together. Non-duality and manifestation together is like yin and yang, right? So if you can manifest with this connection to that non-dual awareness and see reality from this oneness perspective, right? There's no separation. You are the one. There's only one, and that is you. It's everyone and everything. But we create separation through our mind. We create separation by imagining it. Okay? Imagination creates reality. Your thoughts create reality. I know it doesn't seem like that if you're very focused on your physical reality, but if you get subtle and if you meditate a lot, if you look in this direction instead of that direction, you'll see it's first a thought that appears on the screen of space, and then there is the physicality. So manifestation is, okay, let's control that thought that pops out on the screen of space. If you have control, more control over that stuff, right? That psychic material, mental material, emotional material, then your manifestations are controllable, right? Because the physical reality is a reflection of that internal stuff. And then Neville Goddard term is everyone is you pushed out. Everyone is you pushed out, meaning you're only perceiving other people through that stuff too, your psyche. It's like it's like a slice of reality, right? That it's our perception. We can only see through our perception. So when you want to change your physicality, you change this stuff, right? So meditation is great to help you become aware of what that stuff is actually doing. Vipassana meditation is really good. There's also, healing our psyche, healing inner child trauma. All of this stuff is very important to manifest deliberately. So I combine all these things in my manifestation process. And same with money, right? The subject of money. There's also inner child trauma related to money. The family system you grew up in. What was the temperature? What was the atmosphere of the family system you grew up in and money, right? What did they think about? Kids are like sponges. They really absorb the energy around them. They absorb the subconscious energies of their parents. So even if your parents didn't outwardly say things, our psyche still absorb that stuff. And if you think about that with money, right? If your parents had underlying fears or just they had these energetic minimums that they just knew, we are only going to make this amount of money. That's just who we are, right? Then your psyche kind of absorbs that. So you have to bring that stuff up and look at it. Or maybe you grew up in a well-off, wealthier family, higher socioeconomic status, and your inner child is acclimated to a higher amount of money, a higher frequency with money. But then you have some kind of belief about yourself where you feel like you can't do that unless you have the kind of jobs your parents had or something, right? Our stuff, our inner child stuff, the way we oriented our mind according to the outside world, looking at that slice, that sliver of who we are, and all the external stimuli we received as kids related to money. And you can apply this to any subject, but I mainly teach on money manifestation and spiritual abundance. So looking at all that stuff related to your money mindset, because you've had a money mindset ever since you were little. The subject of money has been active in you since you were little. Okay, so look at these things, right? And practice this. You can become aware of these things. You can expand your awareness and you can have this whole inner world healing with money, and that's going to change your outer world. So do that. The other thing that's important to do is to constantly be putting yourself in the ideas of larger amounts of money. What would it feel like to have a 100K day? Maybe you already have a 100K day. You need to say, what would it feel like to make $1 million in a week? Okay? What would it feel like to make $1 million in a week? What would it feel like to have a 100K day? What would it feel like just to make $1,000 a day? $1,000 a week? $5,000 a month? Right? Play with the numbers that make you feel good. So, okay, I'm playing with a 100K day. If I have a 100K day, how does that change the way I feel and think? right? You have to try it on. And I recommend doing this in meditation. This is something I was just teaching inside of my money manifesting space, which is my money membership, by the way. So if you want support with your money mindset, I really recommend joining my money manifesting space. It's really good. There's so many resources in there. I have a lot of videos where I'm teaching on this. I have audios that you can listen to reprogram yourself. You can ask questions anytime. You can get support. It's just good to invest in yourself, you know? I really believe in having a big support budget, right? Like have a therapist, have a manifestation coach, have a life coach, like all the kinds of things, like to just help you live the best life, right? And only things that resonate with you, of course. But I just believe, massages, like manifesting a big support budget, right? That's really important in life. And we don't think about that enough. Everyone's too busy trying to get by. They're focusing on getting by. They're thinking about getting by instead of thinking about abundance, right? You have to start thinking about abundance in order to manifest abundance. And now you know that because of what I was just telling you. So manifest a big support budget, by the way, just side note of that. Like intend that you live this abundant life and you have a big support budget, right? You have to start thinking that way in order to manifest it. You don't have to have the money first. The money will come, but you do have to start thinking in those terms, right? Don't wait to get the money before you intend to have a big support budget. Like money actually loves to come in and fill the pockets that we create for it. So if you create this pocket of every month I spend $500 on my self-care, or you can spend $2,000 on your self-care every month. I don't know, whatever you can feel to be real, right? Whatever you can imagine that makes you feel good. And don't undervalue that imagining process, right? If you imagine that, that's like a real energetic work you just did. That's like some real energetic action you just took. And that's a big thing. That's important because that energy turns into form. So now if you consistently do it and you put yourself in that state and you make it a habit, right? And you stay on track, you're disciplined with your meditation, with focusing on the right energy. You have to focus on the right energy and be diligent with it. Then you're going to get those reflections. You're going to have control over what 3D reflections you get. So you stay consistent with it, right? So I'm imagining 100K day, right? 100K day, 100K day. What does that mean for my whole reality? How does that change my whole reality? Okay, now I can see, that thing I was worried about, taken care of. Now I can do this thing I wanted to do. I can buy that. I can support myself in this way. I can help out that person if I needed to. Whatever you need. Okay, 100K day. Now I'm on this frequency of 100K day. I'm on the frequency of having a 100K day. It's done. It's already happened. Now can I perceive my reality? Can I look through the eyes of having that goal achieved? Right? This takes focus. You gotta get subtle. You gotta meditate. You have to get present. Drop in. Drop in. Perceive your reality through the lens of already having a 100K day. What does that look like? What does that feel like? What actions are you going to take now? For real. I'm not saying this is hypothetical. Think about it for real, as if it's happening. Okay? So maybe you can do this and it feels natural. If you can't do this, I would say you need to connect more with Source. You need to get more still. You need to read more about non-duality. Anything that's going to help you silence your mind. Study manifestation more. Read Neville Goddard is like really good. Neville Goddard, okay, if you listen to Abraham Hicks, really good, but Neville Goddard's like next level. So like I combine all of these things: non-duality, Jungian psychology, Abraham Hicks, Neville Goddard. Like that's what I spit out, you know. I've accumulated all of these teachers, and I have more too. I have more amazing teachers. I'm always wanting to learn more about manifestation and fine-tune my skills, right? So if you can't imagine and it feel real, like that just tells you, okay, you're a beginner. You're just beginning this journey of tapping into the energy of money, okay? When I started this 4 years ago, I couldn't do this. Hell no. I couldn't imagine what it would feel like to have 100K. I had no idea what that would feel like. And I wasn't like in my seat of consciousness. Like I wasn't grounded in this like knowing that my thoughts create. You know, I knew it conceptually, but I feel now it's more like an embodied knowing, you know? So sometimes that takes time to get that embodied knowing of you're creating your own reality. Your thoughts are always manifesting. You have all the power. And when you don't think you have the power, that's you giving the power to something else. So that's fun. It's fun to wake up from that and realize, oh yeah, I did that. I thought that. But like I said in the beginning of the video, sometimes we're not aware of those subtle thoughts. And that's okay. Like, we continue on our journey of studying and meditating and practicing. And then they come up, you know? They do come up. They always come up. And you can always intend, whatever I need to know about my psyche, whatever is in my subconscious that needs to come up about money to be cleared so that I can actually manifest deliberately and manifest larger amounts of money, that's going to happen. It's going to come to me. It's going to show up. Okay? So the energy of putting yourself on those higher frequencies of money, like just imagining what's your next level money amount, right? And you can, it doesn't matter what number you choose. Like you don't have to worry. Like you can change it too, as long as you're putting yourself in this like imagined state of having that money, right? And when I say imagined, do not make the assumption that that's not real. Imagination creates reality. Imagination is serious business, okay? Take your imaginings seriously. Your imaginal acts are serious. Take it seriously because that stuff turns into your reality. And you always have a choice about what you imagine. You always have the choice about what you imagine, no matter what your physical reality is doing. You can always choose what you imagine. And that takes skill, practice. Okay, so I think I said everything I want to say. Oh, I was just going to reiterate the importance of putting yourself on that higher frequency of money. Really imagine these larger amounts. Feel them in your body. Feel them. Be present with them. Absorb the vibration of these larger amounts of money. And you'll notice when you do this, it's so magical because you'll get like, you know, if you have a business, you'll get PayPal notifications coming in, or you'll get an email that like your credit line is increased because you have such good credit, or like you can manifest your credit score going up too, like just by affirming that. You can, you know, affirm my debt is cleared. Like, what does it feel now to have no debt, right? Because you're putting yourself on this high frequency of money. If you have that amount of money, then you're not going to have any debt anymore, right? Your debt is cleared. How does that feel? You know, you're still going to be you. Like, everything's pretty much the same, but you just have this more abundant feeling about life. You're not so worried. You're not in more of like a contracted state. That's abundance, right? Abundance is expansion. Abundance is openness. You know it's all good. Everything's taken care of. You don't have to worry. And you have control. That's where you have control. You have control over your vibration to do that. Okay? Don't let your physical circumstances with money control what you imagine and what you think about and what you feel. You control what you imagine, what you think about, and what you feel. And that's what's important. Do what you need to do to take care of the physical circumstances, of course. But your true power is in what you think and feel and imagine. So always imagine yourself having those larger amounts of money. And be diligent with that. Like, genuinely tap into the feeling. You can't fake it. The universe knows if you're faking a feeling of something, right? Can't fake it. So it takes getting present, takes being conscious of what you're actually doing here. Okay, I think that's everything I wanted to say in this video. I hope it helped you. I know it helped you. I mean, come on. Too bad we don't learn this in school growing up, right? If you want to get support, get help, get my help, my personal attention on your money stuff, I definitely recommend joining my money manifesting space. It's $88 to join. It's worth the investment. There's over a year's worth of content in there. It's like a mega course. Over a year's worth of content. I also have one-on-one money coaching where I can look specifically at your money reality. And that is a larger investment. But you want to always invest in an aligned way, right? You always want to sign up for investing in yourself from a place of knowing that it's the right thing for you, right? So if you need to talk to me to figure out if my money coaching is the right thing for you, I recommend you send me an email. I'll leave that below. And also free resources. I have tons of free resources on my website if you go to the free resources tab. And then you can also join my free Facebook group, Purely Positive Money. I'll leave the link below. And also the link to the money space. And that's it. So thank you so much for listening. If you got any value at all from this video, which I know you did, click the like button. Leave a comment about something that you noticed about your manifestation process. And I'll see you in the next video. Namaste.